Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne and I'm a Master of Counseling student at Athabasca University. Today I'll be sharing insights from my thesis research titled Racialized Students in Graduate Counseling Psychology, Invisible Work, and Institutional Challenges. This project emerged from my own experience and from conversations with peers about how race and culture shape our experiences as graduate counseling students. We often talk about inclusion and cultural awareness in theory, but I wanted to understand how these ideals actually play out in practice, especially in online learning spaces. In graduate counseling programs, cultural competency is treated as an essential professional skill. But for racialized students, demonstrating competence often means doing extra work, explaining cultural concepts, correcting stereotypes, or managing the emotional impact of being seen as the diversity expert in the room. These experiences can lead to fatigue, self-doubt, and even disconnection from the program. In my study, I wanted to make that invisible work visible, to document how it operates, how it's sustained, and how institutions can respond more equitably. I was guided by two main questions. One, how are racialized students' experiences and invisible work organized and coordinated within counseling psychology graduate programs? And two, what institutional practices and policies contribute to these dynamics? Together, these questions help me look beyond individual experiences and toward the structures and assumptions shaping them. To explore this, I used institutional ethnography, a sociological approach developed by Dorothy Smith. It's designed to trace how people's everyday activities are organized by broader institutional texts, rules, and expectations. I interviewed 6 racialized students in Athabasca University's Master of Counseling program, focusing on how they navigate coursework, online communication, and peer interactions. Rather than seeking generalizations, I focused on mapping the connections between individual stories and institutional practices. This is what Smith calls the tracing of social relations of ruling. 3 main themes emerged from the data. 1, cultural competency as authority. Students described cultural competency as something measured through checklists and rubrics, reducing complex lived knowledge to simplified standards. Some felt their experiences were overlooked if they didn't fit a Western framework of expertise. 2, invisible work of racialized students. Many participants described the emotional and intellectual labor of educating peers and instructors. This included explaining cultural concepts, managing discomfort in class discussions, and acting as bridges between theory and lived reality, all unrewarded and unacknowledged work. And third, online learning and identity. The online environment offered flexibility and, for some, a sense of safety. But it also amplified isolation and the pressure to share personal stories quickly to prove their perspectives. This tension between visibility and vulnerability shaped how students engaged with peers and instructors. In summary, racialized students are carrying the weight of diversity within counseling psychology programs, often doing this invisible work that keeps those spaces inclusive. To create change, graduate programs must recognize and value this invisible labor, move beyond surface level diversity statements, and foster environments that genuinely support belonging, reflection, and critical awareness of power dynamics. Thank you so much for listening. My goal is to center the voices of racialized students to help make graduate education more equitable and inclusive. If you'd like to connect or learn more, I'd love to continue the conversation. Thank you.